It's all about the kerning.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hello, everybody. It's me, Darcy. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this, the Unnamed Podcast. Time of the week where I sit here with this, and we discuss the week and other things.
Yeah.
Guys, welcome. A little bit to discuss today in channel news because we'll talk about that later. But let's get started.
I think I might know what some of it will be.
Let's get started the way we normally do with a little bit of channel news. Kris, take it away.
Okay, indeed. So Monday this week was Outbound.
Yeah, man.
I've never heard of it.
So this is a game that I heard about like probably 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, interesting.
Okay, yep.
The premise is you are a person,
Mm-hmm.
like many games.
Well, yeah, many games. I'm glad you said many games, because some games,
Yes,
you're a chunk of meat.
Some games you're not a person at all.
That's a vicious game.
And you take, and you pretty much get a van, and you go on a survival-ish camping simulator. I say survival-ish because there's like food and water constraints. They're like they are measuring those.
So you're just playing a scout?
Sort of, except you camp in your vehicle and you pretty much drive everywhere.
So you're playing as a rover?
You're pretty much playing as the modern person trying to have their own property.
No, dead set a rover. They plan their own things, and they generally don't camp in the tents on the ground anymore.
No.
And it just tends to be a massive drink up.
There's no planning.
Oh, no planning? Okay, fair enough.
You get in your van because, you know, I'm pretty sure at like the start, and I could be wrong about this, but it's like, oh, I had to get away from the city. And it's like, yeah. And you're in your van, you're driving along, and it's like, so glad I bought this van. It's like, someone's in there being like, oh, so it's like the modern person's idea of having their own property. I bought a van that I can sleep in because I can't afford a house.
Okay, well, fair enough.
But anyway, point is, so you got this van. You go around. There's like crafting, survival elements, as I said, and you kind of like build up the van. So it's like, you know, you put stuff in the van, like cabinets and stuff. You got a workbench in there, and yeah, and you go around like sightseeing and doing stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you said yeah a lot.
It's sort of like a survival, like any survival game, except I don't think there's any kind of negative aspects out there. Might be cryptids, I don't know.
I mean, look,
as I said in the game when I was playing
it's negative if you're dehydrated or...
Oh, yeah, but that's like... It's also not, like...
So it just slows you down a little bit, I guess?
Well, I think maybe you might get hurt, but it's really...
Do you have a health bar?
Maybe. I can't remember. You have a health...
Why can you not answer these questions?
You have a food bar, you have a car energy bar, you have like... There's a few bars.
Maybe you just sort of
You don't even have a water bar now that I think about it. You do find bottles of water, but you can't like drink them. You're just supposed to use them in cooking.
Okay, well, fair enough.
So it's like food, car energy, and I think maybe like a sleep thing.
What's the point of the food then? Like unless there's actually a health bar or it affects you in any meaningful way, what's the point?
I don't know. Something to do.
But
it doesn't make sense. I was kind of like interested in it, and I've been keeping an eye on it. I'm gonna keep exploring it a little bit more. It's one of those games where it definitely is like, hey, because like your car even like runs on like magical good time energy.
So it's a hippie vibe.
Yeah, well, sort of. It's really no. Actually, I'm gonna say this. It's really fucking weird.
It's really weird.
So first of all, there's the...
No, you do have a health bar.
I do?
Yeah, it's fucking the big red thing in the corner.
It never went down for me.
Okay, so the health makes sense.
But, so as I was playing the game, I'm like, okay, so this game is going to have like one of two things. It's going to be full of cryptids, or it's going to have no cryptids at all. Because you can't have a half measure there, right? And that's just because it's so fucking dark at
There is
nighttime.
not going to be any cryptids in this.
Might be. You don't know.
Hold on. Let me.
Go look at when it's nighttime and I'm trying to walk around. But yeah. So there's this whole big thing where it's like it's really dark, it's hard to see at nighttime, you know, classic nighttime.
Yeah, but that's not cryptids based. Yeah, I doubt.
And you're going around like setting bonfires, sort of. Literally, you go to like places and there's a campfire, and it counts how many campfires you like lit and done like stuff like that. So really funny. It has a very chill vibe. I hated the character customization. In terms of they gave me some really, really, really bad clothing choices. One of like the 4 options for shoes was Crocs. And if you've only got 4 options for shoes and you're putting Crocs in there, you might need to check yourself.
No, but it's got racing mode. It's got racing mode when you need a sprint.
Yeah, I just wear normal shoes and I can sprint whenever. I can also walk whenever. I don't have to adjust any modes.
Yeah, true.
And I don't look like an absolute piece.
And the thing about the Crocs
dog.
is you've got to kind of take them off to adjust it.
Yeah, and like here's the big thing, you know, about Crocs. They make you look like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I wanted the freedom of having my feet breathing, but I didn't want but I still want an enclosed shoe look.
No.
And you're like, dude, if you want your toes to be breathing, wear a pair of thongs.
Or nothing.
If you want to have your toes breathing and have a little bit of sport action, sandals.
Oh, and then for those outside of Australia that don't know what a pair of thongs are, other than the other thing, no, they're a pair of shoes. You might call them flip-flops or something like that.
If you're a New Zealander, you'll call them jandals.
No, yes, you
I
would.
hate that.
Yeah, but they know that we call them thongs, so it's fine. It's like we know they call them jandals.
No, I just really wanted to talk about the jandals thing.
It's
I
weird.
hate that.
It's a little weird.
Why jandals?
It's actually a good point.
Like, I get it. It sounds like sandals, but where does the J part come from? Anyway. Yeah, so character customization was kind of crappy. I made it... Like, the facial stuff, brilliant. You know? I was a blonde man with a massive mustache.
Janky sandals.
Could be.
Yeah.
You know what? If that's why you call them jandals,
I'll accept it.
I will give you a
Still
pass
weird.
this once.
It's still weird. But I'll accept it.
Because they're not really janky sandals.
It's the only thing I can come up with.
They're more like a board that you strap to your toes with one strip.
Yes.
So that you can run along the beach and not get your feet burned, except when the sand gets onto the thong and you go, it's still burning my feet, because who would have seen that the sand could easily enter through all of the entrances?
No, fuck it.
There's
What are
nothing
you
to-
talking about?
There's nothing to stop the sand getting in. My God. And then, you know, the one thing that I
No,
love...
there is. Pure willpower. Doesn't work.
The one thing I love
There.
when I'm at the beach and I'm wearing sneakers and everyone's like, don't you have thongs? And I'm like, nah. And then I just go barefoot for most of the day and everyone else is like, oh, hold on. My thongs got sand on them. So I'm going to go down to the beach. I'm going to wash them off in the water and then I'm going to put them on the ground. And oh no, they got sand on them again.
Except, wait for it. Now they're wet. So now it's wet sand.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like this was a thing in utility.
Yeah.
It
is.
But anyway, back to the argument that I was making.
It is.
Character customization, bit janky. Like they don't even have like basic controls to like tilt your character slightly so that you can actually see what the styles you're putting on them look like from any other angle, but like on the front.
Weird.
So it's like
That's-
you're changing hairstyles and you're like, I don't know what this is doing.
I don't know what this looks like from behind, and then it would
Or
have
the side.
been hilarious. Well, actually, for starters, you don't really see the character, so is it multiplayer?
I think so.
Okay, so
be.
that's gonna
But
maybe
I
allow it?
believe there's also like interactions with other things around where you might see yourself. I don't know. I haven't gone deep enough into
Which
the game.
which would be funny because it'll probably more likely be a thing where you, when that happens, you see yourself from behind. I'm going to assume.
Well, it's just like a camera straight on your face. But anyway,
You know, that's just weird.
but the whole point is that I saw about this game ages ago, and I was like, oh, that kind of looks interesting. I still have a bit to see. Like, from what I saw originally, it was kind of like a happy go fun time kind of thing, and I was like, I'm all about happy go fun time,
Of course.
and it has kind of stuck to that. It kind of feels, it does seem like there's quite a bit of area to explore. I will say that. That's the biggest thing. There seems to be a bit of area to explore. So until I've explored more, I'm not going to give a final judgment on the game. But I will say the way that it does, or it's like every I don't know, kind of feels like every 5 minutes of in-game time, there's a new campsite. I'm like, okay, that might be a little bit too much. Yeah. The what I envisioned when I first heard about it was like being like, oh, you have a van which you build up to be like the ultimate thing. You can just drive around collecting things, doing survival stuff, and like just setting up your camp wherever you feel like it because your camp moves with you. And it sort of has that, but it also sort of has like these things where it's like, oh, this is a campsite with a campfire and this and that, and as I said, I think in the first like tiny little part of the map I'm in, because I haven't gone further because I have to do like tasks to go further. I think there's something like I found like 8 or something of them. Like I found a large number, and I'm like, ooh. Now don't get me wrong, there's like 80 of them, but I'm just like, you literally like start at the top of a hill where there's a campsite. You drive to the bottom of that hill, there's a campsite.
Yeah.
You drive around the corner from there, there's another campsite. It's like,
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
It kind of makes sense, but I'm like, okay, feels a little bit too.
But from top of the hill to the bottom, is that also most of the day?
No. Oh well.
Because that's the next
maybe.
Because if it's most of the day, then it would definitely make sense. Because now there's the time aspect behind it.
Look, I'll say this.
See, that's
maybe, but when I say from the top of the hill to the bottom, it is the road that kind of looks like this.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Does this tell you the time as you're going around?
I don't think I saw time, but again, I wasn't really paying attention to that.
Yeah, I realized that. No, it's not showing a time.
The other big thing is like, I have yet to find portable lighting in that, which is sort of a thing. One more thing I will say about this, because as I said, this game has like a real like kind of, I call it the hippie vibe, you know, like you're not using petroleum to fill up your car because that would be.
Okay, so no, the time thing doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I don't have a reason as to why they're so close.
But yeah, so it's like as I said, it you know, it does feel hippie because your van is like you run on alternative fuels, but then it doesn't feel hippie because those alternative fuels are like wood and grass, and so it's sort of like
that kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But
well, no, it's sort of like
it does. But
I do not have an internal combustion engine that runs on petrol. I have an old school stoker engine. Got to put the fire in there and get that running.
Yeah, but you never stoke it. So what? Huh?
I just throw the wood in there and go like, burn, baby, burn.
I mean, look, it's kind of like the thing on Raft.
Well, that's not true because we throw potatoes in there. Oh no, we throw planks in there.
We throw planks in there and then you leave them, and it just keeps going.
Sorry, we haven't gotten to the part in the raft where we can use potatoes to make fuel yet. But
see, that makes sense though. That makes sense.
Oh, not really. Potatoes make vodka, so we're really just using vodka for fuel.
Which still makes sense. It's very combustible.
Does it? I think the first thing you would do if you were on a raft and suddenly made vodka was spend the rest of the time being drunk.
Well, yes, but what I'm also meaning
probably yelling at the shark, "Oi, piss off!"
We do that while we're sober.
Yeah, I know, but you'd be drunk, so you'd be like, "Oi, piss off!" And then the other person's like, "Why are you in the water with the shark?" And you're like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That would be it.
That explains so much. But yeah, no. So it seems like a fun game.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe not like on the same level as like a Stardew Valley or a Coral Island or that new one that I'm going to check out. That's pretty much the same game but with a slightly different style. Yeah, you heard me.
What's it called?
I think it's called like Star something.
Creative.
Yeah, no, look, they're not creative, but they're all pretty much exactly the same game. It's just with slightly different graphics. It's not on there.
Okay.
It is on my Xbox though.
Yeah, it was at Star, so it was worth a shot.
Yeah, no,
but
I only have Stardew Valley there. I think it's like Shooting Stars or something like that. I'll look it up for you and I'll show you at the end. But yeah,
Okay.
It's pretty much exactly the same as Coral Island and Stardew Valley. It's just, as I said, different graphics. So pretty much the same game, different graphics.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, that was Monday. That was Monday. That was it. And as I said, maybe there's more to this game. As I said, I've been looking towards Outbound for a while. So hopefully, we'll see what it is.
We'll find the name of this. So Wednesday this week
Yes.
was Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah, it was.
What happened to Watch Dogs 1?
Wasn't a very good game.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't play that first.
No, because okay, here's a little story about me and Watch Dogs. I played Watch Dogs 1 back when it first came out.
Yeah.
And when I say I played it, my friend had it, so I played a little bit of it. And honestly, from that little bit that I played, I would never play another
They don't show anything.
Watch Dogs game again.
And now you're playing Watch Dogs 2, so you've immediately...
No, not immediately.
Well...
That was in 2013. And I only went back to Watch Dogs when Watch Dogs Legion came out, because that had that whole hubbubaloo about it going on. You remember Watch Dogs Legions? That was a big thing.
No.
Pretty much the big thing with Watch Dogs Legion was you could be anyone, right?
Okay.
So you could literally swap your character like in the middle of doing something, and that was a pretty cool concept. And I was like, cool, that's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah.
So
So is it like you changed on the spot and you were just all of a sudden a new character, or you actually changed to another person in a different location? Kind of like GTA 5.
I'm gonna level with you. I never got that far into Watch Dogs Legion to
Star Sand Island.
There you go. I never got that far into Watch Dogs Legions
Damn it.
to ever actually figure out how that worked. But you could like recruit, like there was recruiting, so you could like just go around recruiting random people, and you'd be like,
Okay.
oh, this person has these skills. I'm going to recruit you, and then you could swap to that person.
Right? Oh, yeah, okay. So you couldn't be anyone. You still had to be someone you've recruited.
I think it could be anyone, but like if you were being someone you recruited, you kind of got their skill set. Like so if you just jumped to a random person, you didn't know their skill set. But anyway, point was, it had a cool premise. It was set in London. There was some stuff going on. You're like, okay, this is pretty cool, right? Yeah. It was, meh.
Okay.
Like I played probably like an hour of it and was like, oh. Wasn't as good as I was hoping for.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
But over all the years since then, everyone's been talking about how Watch Dogs 2 was actually a decent game.
See, I did hear that.
And I was like, okay,
I briefly played
Watch Dogs
it,
1 was a disappointment, like a real big disappointment, considering everything they'd kind of sold us on.
Okay.
Watch Dogs Legion was also a bit of a disappointment compared to everything they sold us on, because I think the biggest issue is like when you have this like, hey, be anyone power, it's like cool, but I'm not really anyone. You know?
Yeah.
It's very hard to kind of be like, oh, I'm this person with this goal. You just kind of like, this is the goal of the organization. I suppose I'm the organization. Very hard to pitch yourself as a whole organization of many people, because that's not how we think.
Of course.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, you know what? Watch Dogs 2 is supposed to be the good one. It's the only one I haven't played. So,
Yeah.
let's give it a go. And I'm like, and if I'm going to give something a go, I might as well give it a go on the channel, especially if it's something that I don't really intend to play in my free time.
Okay, yeah.
And so, Watch Dogs 2. And, you know, it's fine.
Fine. Okay.
I haven't really played enough of it to really know. The characters are fine. I kind of enjoy some of them.
Played about an hour of it as well.
The characters are fine. I enjoy them. They, you know, there's a little bit of I say a little bit. There's quite a bit of cringe in the way they talk, and even for like something that came out in 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Around that point, some of the stuff they say is like it's just dumb. Like, there's one point where they're talking about how you're doing something that no one's ever done before, and it's like the secret cow level. If you're a gamer, you know about the secret cow level. Everyone does. We all do. It's kind of something that we all know about Diablo 2. Diablo 2 was a game that came out years before, and everyone knows about the secret cow level. Most people know how to get there. It's not difficult. Me and my friends used to go in the secret cow level all the time when we were in school, messing around on computers when we should have been doing assessments.
Correct.
Yes.
Because why would you do that at school?
Because why wouldn't you play Diablo 2 at school?
No, I meant do the assessment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Why would you do that?
But yeah, so like, they make this statement, I'm just like, no, everyone fucking knows about that. And like, nearly anyone who's ever played Diablo 2 has gotten there to see how stupid it is. So do not like compare that to something that no one's ever done before.
I haven't actually seen the secret cow level.
Really?
I haven't heard it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I've heard of it, but I hadn't seen it. It's very much like the whole Leroy Jenkins thing. Every gamer has heard of it, but not everyone necessarily knows where it's from. Yeah.
But anyway, point is that hilariously funny. It's sort of like, imagine someone who wants to sound like they're in this, you know, gamer hackersphere, like into tech and all that. And so like, oh, they might say that, and it's like, no, they wouldn't. But, you know, other shit like that. Like,
yeah.
There's some other bit, like, there's a lot of cringy stuff where you're like, oh, we were trying to be hip and cool instead of just like, it's like, there's this whole thing.
Big companies are going to stop doing that. It doesn't work.
Ubisoft really has to stop it. But there's a whole bit where it's like, you're just in a park talking to this dude, and he's like, hey, have you heard about this rapper? Yeah, some big CEO is gonna just buy his new album so that no one else can have it. And like, that's one of the missions you have to do, and it's like, dude, what?
No.
It's like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh yeah, that's that medical or pharmaceutical CEO who's upping the... Now, I know the story that this is making reference to, but it's like, that's this pharmaceutical CEO who's upping the cost of leukemia medication, and I'm like, okay, so we didn't go for like the actual like guy, but yeah, we're making a parody on him. Cool, but also, you want me to believe that this guy's paying a rapper to not release his album so that he can have the only copy of it?
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
I'm like, oh, that's really...
Like you've got to offer a lot of money for that to happen. Especially if they're a popular rapper.
But it's even more than that. It's kind of like, oh, this is like, you know, when you look at writing, you say like, oh, this is writing from someone who doesn't... Who wants to make problems that, like, a teenager might be upset by something like that. In a world where literally private corporations can like have you arrested for, I think, like, because my character Marcus, the guy you're playing as, at the start of the game he clears his criminal history. One of the things on his criminal history is like, and he's got like they have like a percentage rating on how much they need to be, you know, monitored and stuff, and his is like 84. And one of his big crimes is loitering without not authorization. It's like intent. So he was just hanging around, and it's like, in a world where you are being like put on this guy's a criminal, keep an eye on him for shit like that. You've got bigger problems than someone wanting to buy a rap song and a rap album and stop everyone else from hearing it. It's like,
I think
we've
that's,
got real issues.
honestly, I think that's a way they're trying to show that big corporations have more control.
Yeah, I know.
That's 100% why they're doing it, but it's so bad.
But it's like,
So
it's
fucking
like,
stupid.
yes, as a teenager or someone young, you might be like, oh, that's massive. Oh, that's wrong. But it's like, dude, I've literally spent the last hour rolling around stealing money from people with just my phone. Do you really think that's the problem?
That's true. Plus,
It's like,
it's already something that can happen. Look, not necessarily from a pharmaceutical company, but a lot of artists at the moment you've got to wait for the publisher to go, yeah, we're releasing this.
oh yeah.
Otherwise, it could have been
But,
made
like,
6 months ago, a year ago, and still not released.
The,
Because
the
you're like,
other thing,
no.
the other thing I found really funny is just there's like this whole big thing at the start where it's like, and now people are worth less than their data, and I'm like, okay, maybe in 2016 this may have been like a wow moment, but I'm here in 10 years later, and I'm going, yeah, no, that's 100% true. That is correct. You have spoken the truth.
Yeah.
People don't matter anymore. Just what you can sell to people. I was like, but yeah, no, that's my thing. It seems like quite a fun game. There's some stuff in it that I'm like, yes, a little bit cringe. There is a character called Wrench who if you've seen anything on Watch Dogs 2, you know him.
Is he adjustable?
No. He's the anarchist one who wears like the spiky mask and the flashing eyes, and
Okay, yeah.
pretty much the person that everyone was like, oh, that guy looks really cool. And he is just weird. Like, he is an anarchist, and
it makes sense.
he has probably some of my favorite lines. Like, literally there's one point where it's like, the barbarians are at the gate, time for Rome to burn. I'm just like, wow.
Okay.
As an anarchist. And he's like referring to himself and them, and I'm like, as an anarchist, this guy is going deep. He is not just an anarchist who was like, I'm an anarchist. He's like, no, I'm an educated anarchist.
Yeah. That's good.
There's also like this other one really funny like thing, which was not intentionally funny. I don't think they made it to be funny, but like in your headquarters, right? Which is really well labeled from the outside.
Yeah.
Like, it says exactly who the people hiding in the basement are.
Okay.
Which is exactly what you want if you're a fringe group of hackers who could be raided by the police at any time.
Of course,
just
yeah.
let them know you're there.
No, but they're obviously constantly hacking the police department so they can make sure it's not going to happen.
Mm.
Yeah, it's, they're hackers. It's what they do.
But yes, so you go in there, and I'm walking around, I'm like, and they're like, oh, this is the 3D printer, and above the 3D printer are reels of filament, right?
Yeah.
But obviously what they did was like got the reels of filament and then just scaled them up to be bigger and look bigger.
Okay.
Which I get, like, as someone who is like, oh, if you had like a massive 3D printer that could print almost anything, wouldn't it be cool to have massive reels of filament?
Yeah.
What would you do with the actual filament on the reels, though?
You would try to make sure there's more
going
on it.
They get like a reel that was probably a scale about this big, and then they up it, and so it's like got filament that's like fucking this thick.
That's what I was thinking you were going to say.
And I'm just like,
stupid.
Not really useful, is it?
No.
The whole point is that you want really, really thin layers of not something like this fucking thing. The other thing I found super funny because...
No, it could work.
Oh, it could work, absolutely.
Except the machines wouldn't be big enough.
But the other funny thing that I found just super funny, because, I used to live in the world where we did them, is like, they've just got an A0 printer. And I'm like, as someone who used to use the A0 printer, I'm like looking at being like, okay, so where are the ink balls kept? Because like the A0, they've got this A0 printer pushed against the wall, and I'm like, yeah, we used to have ours pushed against the wall too. But then there was a giant fucking thing on the side which was just full of balls about this big of ink. Because that's how A0 printers work. And I'm like, they don't have any ink balls. How do they use this A0 printer? Which again, if you're not me, probably not funny. But for me, it was hilarious because I'm like, yeah, these things used to be part of my everyday life,
Well,
and
yeah.
and I'm like looking at it being like, how are they using this? And I'm pretty sure like the first time you walk in, they're like using it to print a piece of metal. I'm just like they've got like this template thing that looks like a piece of metal that's cut out so they can spray paint shit. And I'm just like, why are you putting that through the A0 printer?
No, it wasn't just spray paint or shit. They were printing it out so they could hold it at each end and just wiggle it around to make that weird sound.
But it also
That's all it was.
wasn't like A0 size. It was like this big. It was like you could use like a fucking normal printer to print it, but they don't have that.
Yeah.
They've got an A0, which is just so expensive.
Well, obviously.
But
Gotta have the expensive one.
oh, there was actually one more thing that I found super funny about their cool like hacker hangout.
Mhm.
They have this wall where they've got like 6 TVs and a couch in front of it, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. You could like watch 6 channels at once, but they don't have anything on the TVs except like animated images. I'm like, well, I suppose
Right.
if you watch 6 animated images, it's sort of like watching one TV.
I suppose.
Um,
Still weird.
but yeah, no. But yeah, as I said, the characters are pretty cool.
Yeah.
You've got like, as I said, you got Wrench, who's the anarchist, who is
Mhm.
just like, yeah, absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there's going to be a lot more cringe coming, because, it's the way I describe it is like they've got their writers, and they're like, okay, now imagine you're an edgy 19, 20, 20, in that kind of range year old, and what would you say? And what would be the things you care? And it's like, these guys are like hackers fighting against a giant corporation. They kind of know what the score is. So yes, while they may be like doing certain things and acting like young and foolish, and I don't really know how old any of them are because I didn't really pay attention, but it's like, they're not going to be sitting there being like, hey, you fellow kids kind of stuff. You would
Yeah.
expect a little bit more. I don't know what the word is. Not brevity, the opposite of brevity. You would expect a little bit more from them, a little bit more
Yeah.
serious. Not just constantly to be like, hey, you fellow kids, we're cool and hip too. We care about cool and hip things like you do.
No, but this is companies trying to be cool. That it makes so much sense because that's all they were trying to do.
Yeah.
It was someone who isn't hip and cool trying to be hip.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So that was Watch Dogs 2. As I said, honestly, probably is the best of them from everything that I've interacted with so far.
And everything I've heard.
Other than a few slight annoyances in things like
Yeah.
just like, and these probably aren't annoyances if you're playing it. They're only annoyances if you're trying to put it on YouTube. But like things like, you can turn off the music when you jump into cars, but you have to do it every time you jump into a car. You can't just say, hey, just don't turn on music.
So it means you've got to get into a car, stop talking for a little bit to turn the music off so you can just cut that section out.
No, I didn't even get that far. I just let the first like 10 seconds play while I. But yeah,
Fair.
no, it is one of those annoying things, and I was like, is there a way around this if I intend to continue doing this? And it's like, yes, you can turn the music volume to 0. And I was like,
Not what we want.
cool.
That's
Cool.
That means you got to do the thing we suggested with Minecraft the other day.
Here's the fun fact. Watch Dogs 2 came out in 2016-ish, around that time.
Mhm.
I'm fairly sure it's 2016. I looked it up when I was actually filming it. GTA 5 came out in 2013.
Oh, was it 13 or was it earlier?
I'm pretty sure it was 13 because it
13
was
sounds right.
I'm pretty sure it was my first year of uni. But anyway, so that game came out 3 years earlier and had this really cool feature where you
It
could
was 2013.
just turn the radio off.
Yeah, it was a thing.
Because, and I don't think they did it thinking about people playing it for YouTube and stuff. I think they just thought, maybe you don't really want any of the songs we have. And to be fair, GTA 5 has some bangers in it.
It does have
some really good topics, especially in later versions when they updated the radios and added more channels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some really good songs. But they did say, hey, maybe you don't want any of that. So you can just turn it off and listen to your own music in your room where you're playing video games.
What I did most of the time, to be honest. Except I was always online with people.
Watch Dogs is kind of Ubisoft's GTA.
Yes.
And they did not learn that very, very, very simple premise from them.
No.
Turn off the radio, leave it turned off. They went, well, every time you get in a car, you might feel different about it. It's like, what if I'm getting out of a car to do like a 2-second job and then hopping back in the car? I don't think I've changed my mind about whether or not I want to listen to your music.
I didn't even think about that. Fucking hell.
Yeah, no, it's the one annoyance that I really had.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, like, look, as I said, I will probably say this is probably a good game. If you're not someone who's super highly susceptible to cringe, you should be fine. Go play it.
Yeah.
It's very affordable now, unlike most video games.
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, this Friday we have the podcast. If you're watching this, thank you. If you're not, well, you don't know, so thank you. Anyway, moving along.
Yes.
Next week. So next week might be a little bit different on the channel wise. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100%. I just don't know. There may be less stuff out purely because I kind of have 6 assessments due in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That make up something equivalent to 200% of my grade.
200%?
Yeah, so there's like 20, 30, 250s, and I believe the last one is 45.
No, I'm still questioning the 200%.
Oh, well, they're all for different stuff. But,
oh, okay.
As a total of my first semester at university, that it's 200% of all of my grades that I could get in this.
And how many things are there? How many subjects?
4. We do 4 semesters.
So there's effectively 400%. So it's a 50% of everything.
Oh yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
okay.
It's like if I were to fail this week, if I were not to get everything handed in, effectively I would fail 2 of my subjects.
Yeah.
So, and on top of that, I also lose one of my weekends. This one coming up, I just don't have it. I have to go into university and do 2 longer than normal work days worth of shit.
Yeah.
So, time-wise, I'm not sure how much channel stuff I can get done and get all of this done. I have some videos filmed that if I get time to edit, I will drop them on the normal days. But if stuff doesn't come out, that's the reason I'm just putting in the effort to get this done. Because once I get this done, I literally have 1 assessment left, and then I'm finished for like 2 months, and I get time back to, you know, I go from practically working 3 jobs to only working 2. So, you know,
that's pretty good.
That's a third of my life back.
One way to look at it.
So yeah, so just to let you know, there might be a little bit of finagling next week. As I said, I will endeavor to put out shorts on days where I can't put out videos, but that also kind of depends because, as I mentioned last week, shorts are at the moment.
I mean, if you can get them to work, yeah.
Yeah, if I can get them to work, if I can get them to work without spending like 4 hours on it, you know, that's nice. That's real nice.
Oh, it'd be a shocker if you got 20 minutes.
Back in the days when I could get a short done in, you know,
5 minutes?
About 2 minutes.
Yeah,
if it was a
right.
30-second short, about 2 minutes is what it would take to do it. Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just a little bit of a heads up as to why next week might seem a little bit barren in terms of stuff we're putting out.
Yeah.
The week after, everything should be great. You know,
Yeah.
as I said, by Tuesday, I've handed in everything except a maths test, which I have to go and sit in person. So, and look, honestly, I'm not worried about it because it's very easy math.
Yeah.
It's you know, I don't think I've done anything in my maths section so far in this math course that I'm doing that I wouldn't hand to like a year 7 and be like, you should be able to do this.
Fair.
I will say they are monsters when it comes to it. They made me do scientific notation on something that had, I think it was 15 decimal places.
Oh God.
Which is really easy, guys. But I had to write out the first one first, so I had to count every fucking zero like 3 times to make sure that I'd done the correct number of zeros.
God, why?
Because they hate me. And I was like,
especially if it's just zeros. Why?
scientific notation.
I suppose because eventually there might be a 1.
There was a 1-5 something at the end, and it was like, turn this into scientific notation. It's like, cool. However, because this is math and we have to have correct layout, here's my beginning point. And I'm just sitting there going, you are monsters.
Yeah.
to ask this of someone.
God damn it.
You sicken me.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
But anything else channel news wise, Kris?
I don't think there's anything. Was it supposed to be Minecraft this weekend?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No.
So we're pretty well set on that one. 274 is the subscriber count.
Yeah, which is good because
yeah,
last week we were talking about it was 275, and I was like, well, is it or isn't it? And then it's not now. But
yeah,
earlier this week it was at 273.
Okay, so yeah, it's good. We went up 1.
Not sure what the hell's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's ever actually going up or staying at. I just wash my hands of it sometimes.
It's the easiest way to go.
Honestly, yeah, it is. Sometimes it's just like, okay, well, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm just going to keep going and doing what we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward.
Awesome. Well, that
I can't think of anything else.
Channel news, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get on to
other things.
Other things.
Indeed. Is that warm lemon? It's warm lemon.
No, it's cold lemon.
You arse.
Yep. My hat is an arse. Yeah, so guys, in the week that has been, Subnautica 2 has officially released into early access. I have
seen that. I've seen a whole bunch of videos go up.
Yeah. It looks good. Good.
I haven't actually watched the videos, so
I haven't watched any of the gameplay stuff. I watched stuff like Before You Buys on it, and like just like 10 things you need to know about it and all that kind of stuff. So more like little lists that kind of describe like
10 things. Give me the top 3.
I can't remember any of them.
So what was the point?
Well, I
suppose you watched it and then went, yes, I'm getting this.
I did watch it like almost a week ago. Oh.
You got a decent memory. You got a better memory than I do.
Yeah, I do, but it's like it's sort of like the reason I watch those is to see if there's anything that I'm gonna be like, oh, that's a negative. That's something that I'm against.
Yeah, well, fair.
Whereas like this was things like, oh, you're gonna wanna do this, and oh, you can do this, and oh, this is the thing that happens in this game that didn't happen in the last game, and you're like, oh, cool, yeah, that's all just stuff that I can.
Just new features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
That.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing that I can remember from the Before You Buy things was just them being like, yeah, it's in early access. It's about 15 hours at the moment.
It's what you expect.
They have portioned off the game, so you can't explore the whole map.
So that's fair. So, it's early access. It makes sense.
Well, you know how there's some early access games that like you can explore the whole map, and then it's like the map feels really empty, and there's stuff that's just missing. They haven't done that. Yep. What they've done is they've made the areas of the map where you can go, and you don't get immediately murdered by giant monsters, because if you leave the area you're allowed to go, immediately murdered by giant monsters.
Huh.
Yeah, that's one way to keep people where you think you want to keep them.
Yeah.
Way better than just blocking them and being like, no, that's a wall. That's a wall. That's a wall. Can't go there. That's a wall. It's like, oh yeah, you can pass there. You die.
So does it give you a warning that you're going into treacherous waters?
Yes, there is a giant red glowy wall. So it's very hard to miss.
Fair.
But yeah, so the stuff that they have put, they've gone like, okay, well, instead of giving you all the biomes and having them sparse and not finished, we're going to give you finished biomes that we're just going to keep you in. So I like that. I think that's a way better way because it will keep people interested in the game because you can achieve everything you can achieve in those areas. You know, you don't have to be like, oh, wow. Is more coming to this later? I hope so.
And look, to be honest, they probably will add more.
Yeah. And there's just some new features, and yeah, it looks good. I think the big takeaway is for a lot of people who were sitting there being like, "Oh, development hell has caught this game. Oh no, it's not going to be worth it." They're like, "No, it actually is. It's if you like the first Subnautica, you'll probably like this game."
Okay.
And it has 99% more giant squid.
Hell.
That is a one-hit kill on you.
Well, at the beginning of the game.
No, he just picks you up and eats you.
No, but I mean, like, at the end, you might be able to actually fight against him a little bit.
I don't know.
I don't mean the end of the early access. I mean, once it's fully out.
No, I just, the reason I said I don't know is because, like, the whole thing is, like, if you can avoid being caught by him, you can probably fight him in the current game.
Okay.
But it's like, once he, like, wraps you up and then just puts you in his mouth, it's an insta-kill.
Well, you would expect that from a Kraken.
You would,
yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no. So as I said, like it looks quite good.
Yeah.
I've actually remembered one of the things from the 10 things.
Okay.
So they talk about building multiple bases. So like in Subnautica 1, you could really get away with just having one base. Yeah. In Subnautica 2, they're like you probably won't be able to power one base. So you should just build a tiny little base. So that when you're beginning off at nighttime, you don't, die.
But, yeah.
Because,
I'm assuming later game you'd be able to do a bigger one.
Oh, yeah. But then you'll probably also want different bases and different biomes as well.
Yeah, of course.
Because, unlike the first game where it's like...
It'd be easier to just travel between the biomes and get into a base as well.
I don't know enough about the Subnautica 2 map. I know a lot about the Subnautica 1 map, but in the Subnautica 1 map, you start pretty much centralized.
Okay, yep.
So if you build a base in the safe shallows where you start off, it's centralized to everything. So it's like, I need to go here and grab something. And then to go to the other side of the map, you've got to pass your base anyway. Whereas this one, you might not be so centralized. So it's like having bases in different locations makes sense because it might be, and from the way that I have heard them talk about it, like to get from the first part of the maps available in this early access to the second part, you have to travel through where the giant squid monster is. So you're taking a risk making that travel. Whereas in Subnautica 1, there was a lot of places you could get to without really taking any risk on anything bigger than like a bone shark.
Oh yeah.
And they were pretty easy to deal with, especially once you got your prawn suit and were just like, boom, boom. And they were like, you've killed me by punching my face a lot. And you're like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Have you met metal iron fists? Because I got metal iron fists.
Did they launch off your hands?
I do have a grapple in one of them.
Close enough.
But, that's kind of a weird weapon to use because it's not really like grappling hook, it's more like a suction cup thing. So it's like you just suction them and fly towards them, which I imagine would be terrifying because if like someone was just flying towards you with a fist being like, I'm going to punch you, you'd be like, man, that's going to hurt more than if you just stood there and punched me.
Yes.
I should never have tried to run away.
Yeah, you know what? Fair point.
But yeah, so Subnautica 2, all good things. I will probably be playing it soon. I could be playing it on the Xbox right now because I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass, but I think I'm going to get it on the PC because
Yeah,
PC. If you're wondering what that means, well, it just kind of means I have more storage on the PC at the moment, and
shit ton more storage, and
games,
always,
yeah,
not even at the moment, always.
games like Subnautica for me, I feel are better when you have them on a PC or something like that, where when people start making mods for them, you can start putting them in, because sometimes mods make games better.
That's that stuff.
Well, sometimes they just make games work.
Yes.
But yeah, so I'm probably going to get it on the PC. So yeah, I'll be doing that soon.
Yeah.
In other news, the new James Bond game, Kris.
Oh, I did hear about that one as well. I haven't seen anything on that one though.
It hasn't come out yet. It's not coming out till later this month. I believe it's the 25th, which kind of sucks for me because that will be smack bang in the time where I'm like, got a lot of work to do. But guess what? I already own it.
True.
Because it was very affordable.
Just give me the release date. Come on.
I bet you it's the 25th of May.
It's the 27th.
Damn it.
Get fucked.
Damn it. I was so close. Actually, that's probably better because, hopefully by then I will finish at least 4 of my assessment pieces.
You'd hope so.
I would hope so, considering that they will be due in like 3 days from that point.
Yes. That makes sense.
But yeah, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
That I've already bought that game because like I on Xbox, because I was literally looking at it and I was like, oh, they have this game for this price, $99. Not a bad price for a new game.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I clicked on it, and then there was like the deluxe edition upgrade, and I was like, how much is that going to cost? Oh, nothing.
What?
Because it just comes with this level of the game, and there's no 2 levels of this game. There's just one. You just buy the $99 version, and you get everything. And I was like,
I'm skeptical.
I accept.
I would accept as well, but I'm skeptical.
Yeah, no, it seems crazy, but it's almost like
we're going back to the way things should be.
Well, it's almost like 2025, and the shitstorm that was in the gaming industry
Had made them wake up.
has made some people look at 2026 and be like, maybe if we want a gaming industry to continue past the 2020s, we should open our eyes to the reality and stop just thinking of gamers as living wallets. Now,
True.
The question is, how much of this has to do with the fact that the people that make Fortnite were pretty much like, yeah, no, Fortnite isn't the gold mine that everyone thinks it is. In fact, it possibly not even making that much money anymore. Obviously, Fortnite's still making money. Like,
yeah.
I don't think, but like, Epic laid off a bunch of people. They're like, V-Bucks have to go up in price. And, all of these changes that they're doing that are like, we need these changes to keep the game as profitable as it's been. And considering that like everyone's been chasing that Fortnite money, hearing that maybe makes people go, wait, there's no golden goose? There's no formula that is just like make one product, earn money forever?
No. No, there isn't.
Which, maybe makes people go, oh, maybe we should make good game, earn money for now.
Because let's face it, Fortnite, I think at this point is just kids who, I don't know, it's not even like it specifically. Like it appeals to them a bit more.
I went and had a look at this the other day because I was interested, and
because I thought the game was shutting down.
I don't think it's shutting down, but there's like, I looked at it, right, and it's like there's Fortnite. Then there's Fortnite Save the World. Then there's like Fortnite this, Fortnite that. There was like 60 different Fortnite things. And I was like, wow. So Fortnite isn't just this one thing that everyone was like holding it up as like, oh, it's just Fortnite. It was like, it's broken down into many different compartments. And yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just like, okay, that's crazy.
So there was permanent. Okay, they were shutting down 3 game modes.
Yeah, because that's what I was looking at. There's so many game modes.
Yeah, I thought I heard something about something shutting down.
But like I'm not Fortnite's biggest fan.
No.
I don't hate to hear that it's not doing golden cahoots well, because I feel like Fortnite has led many people to be like, this new game came out and it doesn't have a battle pass and it doesn't have a battle royale mode, and that just means it's crap. And it's like, no, not every game needs a battle royale mode.
To be honest, for most games that make it
shouldn't
better.
have a battle pass.
No, fuck no.
Don't need my games to be a job. I've already got like 3 of those. Don't need more. But you know, like I understand the basic principle of progression.
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
we want progression. But like the battle pass is the scummiest version of progression that has ever existed in my mind. Because first of all, for a lot of games that have it, it's give us some money so that you can afford, so that you can start earning this.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's break this down into some real world.
At least some games have gone down the track and gone, you can start earning this if you give us money, but also you can get it at any point.
Yes. So
see, that is okay.
That's
still not great, but it's okay.
That's not great, but yes, okay.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about this in like human language. So the first one is, okay, kids, I have a job for you, but to do this job,
you have to pay.
You better pay me some money. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna need to do maybe 2 to 3 hours a day on this job, so that you can earn everything that you've just paid me for.
Yes.
If you don't, you'll lose it forever. But that's okay, because if you don't think you can earn it all, I'm willing to take more of your money to give it to you for free.
Yeah.
And that's how they...
No, but before doing that, it's if you don't think you're going to be able to do it, you can give me slightly more of your money, and I can give you an XP boost to be able to unlock it a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Then we'll take more of your money to get the rest of it.
And that's just the scummiest thing you can do.
It is.
Like, if you want to do stuff like that, battle pass it, whatever, that's fine. But, you know, when you're making people pay for it, like, I don't know how they're getting away with it. Really, I don't. In my mind, the second you pay for unlockables, whether they be unlockables you have to earn through playing the game, or just a straight up unlockable, there you go, you paid for it. You have paid for it. It's yours now.
You should permanently have access to it.
They can't be like, oh, sorry, you gave us the money, but you didn't try hard enough, so you don't get it. The second you pay for it, it's like, yeah, cool, yeah, this is yours now. You just get it.
I'm
it's
surprised
yours.
there was nothing on that. Like,
I think it's mainly because gaming had its moment in the sun where everyone stopped a shitty thing, and that was with the loot boxes.
Yes.
And everyone went, loot boxes, they're akin to gambling. Stop them. And everyone went, oh, we've done a good thing. And then no one kind of looked at what came next, where I was like, battle passes, they're akin to a job that you have to pay for.
Exactly.
Yes, you pay this company the privilege to work.
That is exactly what it is.
And because no one was really paying attention, they were all too busy. Good work. We got rid of gambling.
Yeah, but it's like I said, I'm just surprised there was never like a lawsuit on. Well, I didn't, because you gave such a short period of time, and I live in the real world, and like, let's face it, a lot of people are adults in that situation there.
A lot of people are adults. Most people are adults.
Yeah. They have things that they need to do.
Yeah, it's true. It's crazy, but it's true.
Yeah.
And even kids have things they need to do. Kids shouldn't be playing 2 to 3 hours of Call of Duty every day. Just because Call of Duty really doesn't deserve it.
That's a good point.
But also because, like, you know, they really shouldn't be doing that.
No.
You shouldn't be forced to play a game every day just to get your money's worth. And as I've always said with battle passes, and what annoys me the most is the number 100 is really important to them in battle passes, like really important.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of just crap.
It's stuff that you're like, I've unlocked something I do not care for. Awesome.
So I've got a sticker. I've never used stickers. Oh, actually, no. Nick and I did in Rivals.
There you go.
There was one that you could put down, and it was noughts and crosses.
Right.
And then you would just put your stickers in to see who wins. We played that a bit. It annoyed people because we were doing that at the start of a game when everyone was running off to do their actual game.
It's kind of... I think that's a boring trend for a game, isn't it? If playing noughts and crosses in it is more entertaining than actually playing the game.
No, you're wrong. We had fun playing the game normally, but it was that thing of like, noughts and crosses, I'm down.
Anyway. But yeah, no, so like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
You said yeah a fuck ton in this.
Yeah.
Did you say it again?
No, but like seriously, it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, maybe gaming does have a future beyond, as I said, beyond the 2020s.
Look, if everything starts going down this track and
things start going, these companies start going, maybe
we'll just give
we shouldn't declare war on gamers.
Yeah, pretty
considering
much.
You know they are the ones that
let's face
keep us
it,
in business.
Yeah, declaring war on gamers. What's the best outcome on that? Well, they get a little bit of money and can stay afloat slightly. Worst case scenario, gamers are like, well, we're just not going to buy your game, and you're going to close down. One of my
favorite quotes, from Jeremy Clarkson, from Top Gear, is about the government. The government that got in pretty much said, we're going to end the war on motorists, and after watching them for a couple of months, his interpretation on that is, well, they weren't lying. But you can also end a war by just absolutely killing the other side. And that's the reality. They're like, when you try and bleed the gamers dry so that you can make more money, eventually there's no more gamers.
Yeah.
They move on to other things.
Or they keep playing the games that, they've already got and do not need to pay anything to play.
They move on to cheaper prospects, like being a board game.
Fucking cheaper prospects, my ass.
No, but like seriously, think about it like this, right? I bought War of the Ring, which is a 2-player board game, for $140. Right? I can play that with Kris as many times as I want. I can play it with other people. I can take it with me when I go places.
True.
I have a lot of stuff. Video games were starting to get to that same cost point just for the game. I couldn't play that game without the console or the PC or power or the internet or a whole bunch of other stuff that I also have to pay for.
Yeah.
As well as, it's not the complete game. War of the Ring, we can play it, it's the complete game. There are expansions that add more to the game. But they add more to the game.
You don't need it.
They're not like
that's how expansions should be.
This is the basic thing. This is something that's part of the game. We just decided to keep it from you in a paywall. And it's like, that's kind of where video games were going. I think they looked at tabletop gaming, like Warhammer.
Yeah.
And went, these guys haven't figured out. They just release more stuff every year and people buy it. And they keep buying it. And it's expensive and it's ridiculous. But what they didn't realize is that, Plastic Crack's already got its hooks into those people. Video games ain't getting their hooks into those people.
No, God no.
Video games is where the people who can't afford that go.
They don't have more money to spend. They've got to buy the paint and more plastic.
Exactly.
Exactly. What's that? They've finished painting up this army? Let's do another.
I don't think that actually is the thing that's ever happened.
What? I finished painting the army.
Every war gamer I know is like, so this is my army, and this is the unpainted section of my army that I'm getting around to. It's like, so you're gonna paint those up and then go, and once they're all finished, go and get more stuff? No, because here's the stuff that I've recently bought that needs to be put together so that it can go into the unpainted section. It's like, you have a lot of stuff that you haven't finished, and you're still buying more stuff? Yes, you
Yeah.
see, this has its hooks in me deep.
Very deep.
This company has a direct line to my wallet.
It does.
They just call it up and be like, "Yeah, we need more money," and then it goes, and I go, "Oh, I guess I got a new box."
No, it's not even that. It's legitimately just like getting a notification from your bank. It's like $100 has been taken out of your account. It's like, what's this? Oh, Warhammer. Yes, that's fine.
But you know, like that's it, and it's like, you know, so yes, maybe the war on gamers has ended, and maybe companies are realizing, and you know, I would love to say it's because of all the shutdowns and stuff that's happened, and that they've realized that, hey, if you make it out like the people who buy your product are bad people and against you, and you focus on selling to people who are never going to buy your product, you don't get to be a company anymore. And maybe that opened people's eyes, but I don't think that's reality.
No.
I think the reality is a few companies who have kind of always had the gamers' good graces drop games like Resident Evil Requiem that people loved, and they went, oh, it is possible to make games that people aren't just angry about all the time.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, that maybe opened their eyes. Yeah, so, and you know, so I don't think they've learned anything from, you know, seeing countless studios be shut down because people aren't buying their games and they literally can't afford to keep them open anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And you might say, oh, well, that's the big corporations. Yes. Who are buying up these studios and doing, and it's like, yeah, that's all true. But it also comes down to making good games.
That's pretty straightforward, to be honest.
And then, in even more surprising news, Chris, Xbox.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard any of the stuff that's been happening with that.
No.
Okay, so you know that Phil Spencer, he's out, right?
Yes.
Yep. And they replaced him with someone who does AI stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Xbox announced that they're going to stop focusing on AI stuff.
Oh, nice.
Under their new leader, and they dropped the price of Game Pass. I don't know if you heard about that, but it was supposed to go up in price to like $30.
Yeah.
Still gone up in price. It's now like $22.
That's still better than 30.
Yeah. So they said it's going up in price, and then they said no, it's coming down from that price to this price. And as I said, it's still up, but you know,
it's not as bad.
Yeah. It seems like this new leadership team actually understands what Xbox is. One of the big things that they did that maybe doesn't seem like a big thing, but you know how Xbox's logo went to that white Xbox, and they were calling themselves Microsoft Gaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're back to being Xbox.
Oh, good.
And they have a new logo.
Oh.
Which,
nice. I didn't know that.
Let me show you this new logo quickly.
Oh, good. I'm waiting.
Fill in the gap.
Keep typing. Type it correctly. No, correctly. Do it properly. Stop being shit.
So that's incorrect now. That's what it used to be. The new one.
You didn't even find the correct one before pointing it at.
Is this?
Okay. Yeah, see, that's pretty good.
They've gone back.
They've gone back to the green. That makes sense. That's better.
So, what does this mean? We don't know. There's still a lot happening in the world of Xbox. But every kind of step they've taken has there's something else I'll show you.
Okay.
But has been a positive step.
Okay, yes,
and like even the little step of changing the logo from the white, the very clean, generic, oh look, it's new, it's modern white, back to a green. Is a step in
a step in the correct direction.
It's a step in the direction that says, hey, look, we care about our history.
It's kind of taking the step of, hey, we're going back to when we were better.
Yeah.
And
going back to when people actually cared about making you.
Yeah. Which is great.
I
don't know what you're trying to show me now.
Oh, so this is their new leader, right? I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
But Asher. You know how people make the Jesus Gabe Newell like the Messiah game.
Yeah.
People are making memes like that about her.
Solid.
Because she's kind of everything she's come out and said is exactly what the gamers want to hear.
Yeah.
We're gonna focus on making games again, not giving you an absolute experience and all of this kind of stuff. We're gonna focus on being Xbox again, not just Microsoft games. We're not going to try and do all this stuff. We're not going. Oh, AI is the future of gaming.
No,
people are the future of gaming.
Yes,
and so everything she said. As I said, it's early days. We haven't seen what this is actually going to do because obviously everything that's still kind of coming out of Xbox at the moment in terms of like units and all that kind of stuff is still from the past. It's still the last administration because obviously to do a whole flip and change everything takes time. So we probably won't see the changes for a few months at the earliest. Maybe later in the year, maybe next year is a more realistic goal.
Yeah.
But just some of the stuff she said, like, we want to sell Xboxes to people. That's a really good sign. Like, it's crazy because a lot of people, when she was put in charge, were like, oh, so they've taken Phil Spencer, who, whatever you want to believe about Phil Spencer, he started off okay.
Yeah.
And then just kind of went crazy. But
yeah,
his stuff was gaming. That's what he was into.
Yeah.
And so when they took him and said, hey, we're throwing this person who used to be in charge of AI development or something like that. It was something to do with AI. I can't remember exactly.
Which is fantastic that it's been like, so we're going away from AI. It's like, they were in charge of AI. Really shows how well that's going.
Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? And be like, maybe that's not as advanced as everyone's trying to tell us.
Maybe.
But the big thing is, it's like, this new person is just like, everyone was like, oh, okay, so she used to be in charge of AI, so this is kind of like the palliative care, right?
Yeah.
As Xbox switches more to AI and caring less about gaming and more about like just being being somewhere you play your games, kind of like the Steam shop, as opposed to being a system and a developer that makes the games, this is going to be the palliative care. She's AI, she's this, she's just there to watch it die. And then literally like the very first thing she was like, yeah, bitches, we're bringing this back.
Yes.
And the first thing I'm doing is I'm bringing back the green because we are Team Green. And it's like, yes.
Ooh,
I don't know, if I'm PlayStation right now, I'm going like, wait, they changed from white back to green? Has the war begun again?
I didn't think that. That was good.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, because it's like, that's, as I said, almost an insignificant change.
Yeah.
They took their logo and they made it green again. But green was the color during the Xbox's original launch. Yeah. And I know the original Xbox had its problems and everyone was like, what? But that also brought us Halo. And then Halo spent the next about 10 years absolutely stomping on everyone.
Yeah.
Green was the color when the 360 launched. And the 360 bodied everyone.
Well, fair.
It was like, okay, it never sold as much as the PlayStation 2.
No, it did.
But the other consoles of its generation, it was just like, bitches out of my way. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
The 360 changed the landscape to where video game controllers look like this now. Almost exclusively.
Almost. PlayStation's not quite there yet. They're not willing to give up on that. They're close.
The PlayStation 5 controller looks incredibly similar to that.
Oh, it does.
As opposed to the PlayStation 4 controller.
Oh,
the PlayStation 5 controller looks more like an Xbox controller than it looks like a PlayStation controller.
It does. It very much does. It's just, well, we're not making it as bulky. It's still more slimline.
Yeah,
for now.
PlayStation controllers feel like babies in my hands.
Have you ever gone back to a fucking PS3 controller?
Have you ever gone back to an original no analog stick PS1 controller?
No.
Let me tell you.
No, it's weird. No, it's like when I had the PS2, I'd gone back to it and was like, hey, this is a little weird. And then the PS3 came out and it was a bigger controller. I'm like, oh, this is good. And then I grabbed the PS2 controller. I'm like, Okay. Went to the PS4 and was like, cool. Back to the PS3, it's like, fuck this. And then PS5 is now a bigger controller, and so I will never pick up a PS3 controller again.
But yeah, as I said, like, yeah, so I don't know, it looks like good news. We have a lot of waiting to do to see what actually happens, but it looks like good news.
Yeah.
And they brought back green.
Yeah.
Everything started going downhill when we lost the green.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's 100% true. I can't actually remember exactly when they changed from green.
I don't remember.
It was on my list here.
Yeah.
So it was that. So we still had a bit of green from 2013, but
yeah,
it went from fully green.
Yeah, it lost all of the green in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The days of, and we're not talking about just green. We're talking about that lime-ish green, that early color green, that green that reminds you of the 360 days. It's a good sign.
It's a distinct green.
It's a distinct,
very distinct green.
As I said, this is like the flags are waving again, and everyone's sitting there going like, they're not white anymore.
It's like, oh no, they haven't given up.
They'd been waving those white flags for so long, we thought that was surrender.
Oh no.
They're green again. What does that mean? And so we'll see what it means.
Yeah.
But hopefully
good signs.
Well, you know what I think would be an excellent, to see in the next 2 years, just an absolute base kicking, absolute ass ripping remake of Halo 3.
Oh.
Collector's edition, anniversary, whatever you want to call it. You put out a modern Halo 3, just an upgrade of what it was. That tells me, oh yeah, we're serious. Oh yeah, we're here. We're here to kick ass and take names.
Oh yeah, pretty much. That's what we need.
And I think that would get all of those executives at Sony collectively pissing their pants, at least in the gaming department.
Well, yeah.
I don't think the music department's going to piss their pants too much. I think they would celebrate because they're like, sweet, more people are going to spend money on music to get that new Halo. Halo soundtracks.
Fair point. I was about to say, most of Sony won't be pissing their pants. But gaming is the small side of Sony.
Gaming is the small side of Sony.
I'm aware. They don't put much into that side.
The people that make white goods are going to be pissing their pants also. What do you mean they want green?
No! I'm not making a green fridge. Fuck them.
But no, as I said, it's good science. It's very good science.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's going to wrap us up for the day. So thank you for joining us. If you've liked this video, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. If you're excited about the green coming back to Xbox, let us know.
Yeah.
But guys, until next time, I've been Darcy. That's Kris.
Indeed.
If you want to see more of us, check out the rest of the channel. We play video games, and we also have a podcast where we get together and just talk rubbish, as always.
Yeah.
And, until next time, guys, we'll catch you right here on the channel.
Indeed.
Goodbye.
Fair.